Life can be unpredictable. For much of my own, I had nothing but doubts. I grew up poor, a small house in a small town, hand-me-downs and a yearly pair of shoes. You get the idea. But unlike most, I was able to crawl out of the pit that I'd had no choice but to be thrown in. I did well in school and got into a decent college. It was no Harvard, but after graduation I could work almost anywhere. While in school I met a beautiful woman, my lovely wife Ashley. She was the first person to make me feel as if life wasn't unfair. She showed me that while it was unpredictable, it could be beautiful. I owe her more than anyone could ever imagine. We married at 28. It was a dream come true, kids by the time we were 30. My darling daughter Judith, an adventurous son Kyle. Despite my rough upbringing, I had somehow managed to build something incredible. For this I'm eternally grateful. 2 weeks ago we moved into our dream home, or so I thought. Everything started out fantastic. My wife and I make decent money, so we bought a gorgeous fixer-upper. Well, it would be gorgeous once we'd done most of the fixing. My father was a carpenter. Growing up I'd joined him on countless jobs, so I knew my way around most small projects. The first thing I meant to tackle was the basement. It was huge. Not one of those basements with more than one room, just a giant box with a concrete floor. Within the first week I'd gotten done most of the drywall and was getting ready to begin painting. Then my daughter asked me something completely out of character. "Daddy?" she asked while grabbing at the base of the black garbage flannel I'd used for most work. "Yes, sweetheart." I've always loved how curious she is in regard to anything. What could my little bundle have in store for me today? "When you paint the walls, you should paint them bright red," she exclaimed, so excited it brought a smile to my face. "Bright red?" I asked, my tone poking fun at my little girl. "And why should I go and do that? You know your mother wants nice sky blue, sweetheart." "Because Mr. Dark doesn't want you to waste your time repainting," she answered, giggling innocence. "Mr. Dark?" Odd. Judith had always been a little strange, but an imaginary friend. That was new. I brushed it aside. 5-year-olds can be creative, to say the least. Maybe she was just getting to that age, I told myself. "Well, Mr. Dark is going to have to repaint himself then," I laughed. "Daddy already bought the paint, sweetie, and you know Mummy is set on blue." She simply turned and made her way to the stairs. "He will," she added before beginning her ascent. Dinner was chicken parm, my wife and son's favourite. After a hard day of work I'd forgotten entirely about Mr. Dark and scoffed down my day's reward. Judith, however, had not been so lucky. "Mummy?" she asked, practically staring through her plate. "Yes, honey." Ashley's voice was silk. It had always soothed me, and tonight, eating my home-cooked meal, I was once again reminded just how lucky I'd been. "What does abomination mean?" Judith was afraid. Those small pools of blue never left her plate as my wife and I locked eyes. "Abomination?" my wife answered, shifting uncomfortably. Where did you hear that word, honey?" "Mr. Dark doesn't like Daddy," Judith replied. "He told me Daddy's an abomination, and that him and his light-haired whore would be the first to go." She broke down in tears, her fork dropping to the plate, ashamed of what she'd said. We were speechless. Abomination? Whore? Where on earth had my daughter heard such cruel words? Something wasn't right. "Judith," my voice was firm but caring, "who is Mr. Dark? Have you been watching scary TV again?" Judith finally met my gaze. "Mr. Dark is my friend. He's nice to me when Kyle is at school. We play in the basement. He doesn't like the new walls." Naturally, the two of us were concerned now. We cleared the table and put the kids to bed, sat on the couch and began a talk about our youngest. "Are you sure she hasn't been watching too much TV or something? How could she possibly know what either of those words were, let alone their meaning?" Ashley's eyes stared through me, begging for an answer, which I knew I didn't have. I felt the best course of action was honesty. "I have no idea," I told her. But I did explain what had gone on in the basement earlier. That this wasn't the first time Mr. Dark had been mentioned by Judith. Ashley was horrified. She has always been a huge Stephen King fan, and I could tell a million things were coursing through her mind. I did my best to comfort her. Baby, there has to be some explanation. Judith is 5. She just has an imaginary friend and got some words she's heard on TV mixed up in that curious head of hers. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Ashley found some solace in my words, more than I'd received myself. It was my job to provide a sense of security for the people I loved. Despite how freaked out I genuinely was, I hid the truth. I shouldn't have. The next few days went on rather normally. Judith played in her room, I went to work, Kyle went to school. Thursday was when things took a turn for the worse. I arrived home to find my wife in tears, Judith on the living room floor, playing with one of her dolls. Ashley practically vaulted into my arms. I'm afraid, David. What was it now? Mr. Dark was on my mind, but God knows I would have taken an attempted burglary over something supernatural playing with the safety of my family. Judith, Ashley was shaking. I had never seen my wife in a state like this. What happened to the caring woman, the one who'd showed me life could be so wonderful? She was gone. Shh, what is it, honey? I'm here. I brought out the soothing husband tone once more, hoping it would lead to some answers. She was in the walls, playing in the dark. I'm afraid, David. In the walls? What the fuck? Babe, settle down. You're not making any sense. What do you mean Judith was in the walls? She just stared at me, so desperate, so fragile. Go in the basement, you'll see. I can't go down there, David. Ruins. The drywall was in ruins. Each wall plagued with destruction, except for one. Farthest from the stairs was a hole, perfectly circular. I found myself drawn to it. I peeked inside, half expecting to find some demon staring me in the face. There was nothing but shadow and pipes. I broke down. Sobbing, I turned towards the stairs, preparing to console my wife, and in truth hoping she could console me. As I climbed, I heard it. Soft breathing, like that of a child. It took all the strength I had left, but I turned, half hoping to finally face this unwanted presence. What I saw was nothing like a person. Eyes as black as what was hidden in our walls, yet somehow distinguishable through the darkness. A broken body, what seemed to be arms as long as legs, and a stunted lower half as small as my Judith. It moved like the voice of my wife, smooth as water, flowing from the base of the stairs to the hole I knew he'd made for my daughter. Once inside, the sound of breathing subsided, but my heart raced. I turned towards the stairs and ran, sprinting like I had when I was just a boy, fleeing the emptiness, fleeing the unknown. I'm sharing this to set my mind straight, while at the same time pleading for help. What the hell is going on in our home? Judith, Carl and Ashley have gone to stay with my mother-in-law, but I need to find out what's happening here. I need to protect the ones I love. I need to put an end to Mr. Dark.